concerned should we be about this new variant?
Well, the coronavirus is doing what it's been doing all the way along. It changes, different variants come out to the forefront. This is no different now. And unfortunately, we're going to see people who get sick if they're not protected or don't wear, or at least stage their protective measures that they've learned this last 12 months.
And so we have the Delta variant, there's the Lambda variant. We're probably going to see other variants, right?
Absolutely so. There are variants been going through every month all the way since the beginning of the pandemic. It hasn't been popularized or really brought to the news front.
Dr. Fauci was on ABC yesterday talking about vaccinations. Take a listen.
Bad news is that we have a very nasty variant, and the good news is that we have a vaccine that works against it. That's the reason why we're very concerned, is that we have some sort of a schism between some states and some areas that have a very low level of vaccination, which is really unfortunate because we want to make sure those people are protected for their own safety and their own life, but that of their family and their community.
Dr. Hibberd, do you agree with him?
Well, we've had a wide spectrum of advice over the last 12 months, and we know that the vaccinations protect. I think the targeted populations are the ones we need to emphasize greatly. We've had a lot of discussion of vaccinating our younger ones, who by and large, the children under 12 are not yet being vaccinated. But the truth is they probably ought not be, because they're not picking up coronavirus from anywhere but their parents. And we ought to probably be looking at the at-risk populations to decide those who need the vaccine. And remember, we've got all kinds of vaccine problems that have come up. And unfortunately, the CDC hasn't been at the forefront on the reporting of this. We've been getting it from foreign countries. And when we see foreign data reporting side effects of a vaccine we're pushing, of course there's vaccine reluctance. And that's a big problem. We need to fix this up and make sure that the reporting system, which is not very good here in the United States right now, we need that reporting system to get the public's confidence. We have a lot of lack of confidence in the reporting of vaccine effects. And some patients, including some families who've had one member vaccinated, have troubles, and they're scared for getting the other family members vaccinated. The vaccines work, but remember, there's a gauntlet of some side effects that are going to go through for some. And unfortunately, in the case of young adults in their 20s and 30s, we're seeing a myocarditis problem, among other issues. So emphasize at-risk populations for vaccinating. It's very important to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And Dr. Hibberd, we know Pfizer, they're in the midst of developing an updated vaccine to better target that Delta variant. Representatives from Pfizer will meet today. But what do you think will be, the case when it comes to these booster shots? Because now we're hearing about booster shots. Do you think they'll be necessary?
Well, I think the problem with the vaccine is it doesn't generate the immunity that the infection generates, and hence it's not quite as long. We think the vaccine immunity is going to last you probably 6 months, maybe a little longer, whereas the illness immunity lasts a good deal longer. And the question is, okay, what's the trade-off here? What age group is going to have a problem with the illness mostly, and which age group is having a problem with vaccines? We need some clarification on this. Yes, boosters are probably going to be required as the variants change, but fortunately, at the present time, those who've been vaccinated and gone through the gauntlet of the initial 2-3 weeks of wondering whether they'll have side effects are now expecting to have immunity. I expect presently, with the variant we have now, that those who've been vaccinated are protected in the best way. But remember, a vaccination is just that. It's a tool to prevent you advancing to severe disease. You still will get the coronavirus infection. You may still spread that. It's very important to bear that in mind when you're around other people. Although you may get minimal symptoms, hopefully if the vaccine took, there are plenty of people who've received a vaccine whose vaccine did not take, and they must be careful also. Until we can be sure of finding a way to measure whether your vaccine took, everybody should be vigilant.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.